some stories don't begin with a meeting. They begin much earlier. In silences, indecisions, on paths that seem unrelated, but which are actually pushing two souls towards the same point in the universe. Sometimes, without realizing it, we spend our whole lives getting closer to someone who is also walking towards us. Without haste, without a map, without clear signs, but with a force that cannot be explained. A force that makes the inevitable happen. Because when two souls are destined to be together, nothing can stop the encounter. Not time, not distance, not fears, not mistakes. Not even ourselves. Everything begins in the invisible. In that place where true stories are written before we can live them. There are people who come into our lives like a whisper, barely perceptible, but enough to stir something inside. Others arrive like an earthquake. They disrupt everything, awaken parts of us that were dormant, and push our soul towards an inevitable rebirth. They say the universe doesn't bring people together. It brings vibrations together. And when two souls beat at the same frequency, life always finds a way to unite them. That union may happen at the most inopportune moment. Perhaps one of the souls is not ready yet. The story may begin with a long distance, with a not yet, or even with a it could never happen. But the universe doesn't understand impossibilities. It understands purpose. Some encounters can't be rationalized. They're felt. One day, suddenly, someone appears who shouldn't mean anything, but means everything. We didn't seek it. We didn't expect it. We didn't ask for it. It simply appears. And something inside us, something ancient, something deep, something we cannot put into words, is activated. That first call is not chemical. It is not accidental. It is memory. It's the feeling of recognizing someone we've never seen before, but who somehow, we already knew. And that's where the mystery begins. Why that person? Why now? Why with such an emotional impact that defies logic? The answer is both simple and complex, because some souls have a pact. And when the time comes to remember it, life makes it impossible to ignore. Sometimes we feel like we've wasted years. That we've been through wrong relationships, painful breakups, and deep disappointments. But nothing was superfluous. Every previous experience was emotional training. Every fall shaped us. Every silence taught us something we would need later on. The soul prepares for its destiny in the darkness. Because to recognize your destined soulmate, you first have to recognize yourself. That's why the roads are hard. That's why we arrive tired, wounded, full of doubts. But it is there, precisely there, when the person who doesn't arrive to save you appears. But to walk with you. Perfect timing isn't magic. It's evolution. Two souls don't meet when it's convenient. They meet when they're ready. And then, it happens. A message. A look. A conversation that shouldn't change anything, but changes everything. It's as if life were saying, that's it. They're both ready. Now we're ready. And that's where the spark appears that cannot be forced, that cannot be invented, that cannot be reproduced with anyone else. The connection between two destined souls is not emotional. It's energetic. It pierces you, awakens you, rearranges you. It shows you parts of yourself you've never seen before. It doesn't feel like falling in love. It feels like remembering. That's why it's so powerful. That's why it's so different. That's why it's scary. Because of course, when a connection like that appears, fears also appear. What if it doesn't work? What if I lose them? What if I'm not enough? What if this person is too far away, too busy, too hurt, too confused? Fear is part of destiny. Not to stop it, but to transform us. Destined soulmates are not chosen from a place of comfort. They are chosen from courage. From vulnerability. From the ability to love even when nothing is certain. And yet, that connection persists. It doesn't go away. It doesn't disappear. It doesn't fade. Because the inevitable is not stopped by fear. Every destined story goes through trials, distance, silences, different times, scars that take longer to heal, external obstacles, and the inmates, who are the most difficult. But fate doesn't test to separate. It tests to strengthen. Some relationships break down as soon as the wind blows. And there are others that, even amidst the chaos, remain alive. Silent, perhaps. Hesitant, sometimes. But alive. That's when you realize it. Destiny's love doesn't need constant attention. It doesn't need to be on display. He doesn't need to prove anything. It just needs to exist. And when something is destined, existing is enough. There comes a point, there always comes, when one of the souls becomes aware. It is a brief but transformative instant. As if a veil were suddenly lifted. Suddenly you understand why that person came into your life. Why no previous relationship worked. Why your soul stirred from day one. You understand that it's not by chance. That it's not a whim. That it's not a romantic coincidence. It's destiny. It's purpose. It's the missing piece that connects your life to a greater meaning. And when one of them wakes up, the other begins to wake up too. Even if it's late. Even if he has doubts. Even if I'm scared. The energy of awakening is contagious. There comes a moment in every destined story when words, dreams, or imagination are no longer enough. The universe moves everything so that souls can meet physically. It could be a trip. An unexpected decision. A coincidence that was never a coincidence. And when they're finally face to face, everything falls into place. Everything feels natural. Everything flows as if life itself had been a prelude to that moment. It doesn't feel like the beginning of something. It feels like coming home. Many describe that encounter as a profound calm, a certainty that cannot be explained. I always knew you, without logic, but with truth. That moment confirms what the soul already knew. Destiny's love is not perfect. It is not constant. It is not easy. But it is transformative. It forces you to grow, to heal, to confront your shadow. It asks you to abandon old patterns. It guides you toward a higher version of yourself. It doesn't come to complete you. It comes to expand you. And when two souls choose each other from that place, they begin to create a life that transcends the ordinary. A project of love that is not based on possession, but on evolution. In every inevitable story there is a breaking point. A separation. A falling out. A pause that hurts as if life were being torn in two. That's where many believe the story ends. But it doesn't. Destined souls don't break. Sometimes they separate to grow. To heal what's missing. To find each other better. That silence is a bridge. Not an end. If the love was real, if the connection was true, if the soul awakened, destiny brings them together again. Always. And one day, unexpectedly, something ignites again. A message. A dream. A persistent thought. A repeated sign. A synchronicity impossible to ignore. Energy reconnects. The path opens. The heart recognizes. And then, what was written from the beginning happens. The souls return, stronger, wiser, better prepared, more aware that the inevitable never stopped moving. Why does the universe bring two souls together? It's not just about love. It's about mission. Because together they can create something they couldn't create alone. Because one inspires the other. Because each awakens the other's dormant greatness. Because that encounter has a meaning that resonates far beyond themselves. Destined souls don't come here to live a romance. They come here to live a purpose. Sometimes it's about building a family. Sometimes it's a project. Sometimes it's a spiritual transformation. Sometimes it's about supporting each other through trials that no one else could endure. But it's always evolution. When two souls are destined to be together, life may take time, it may be confusing, it may be complicated, but it is never wrong. The inevitable is not what cannot be avoided. The inevitable is what has a purpose. The question isn't whether you'll reunite with that soul. The question is, are you willing to become the version of yourself that destiny needs? Because true love doesn't arrive when we ask for it. It arrives when we're ready. If you're hearing this, it's not a coincidence. There's a story in your life, or in your heart, that you can't quite let go of. A connection that remains alive. A love that persists. An energy that returns again and again. Perhaps it's someone from your past. Perhaps it's someone who just appeared. Perhaps it's someone you haven't met yet, but who already exists in your destiny. Whoever it is, your soul knows. And if it's meant to be, life will bring it. Sooner or later. One way or another. With gentle force, or with the force of an earthquake. Until the inevitable happens.